Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a heroic heavy bolt rifle build for the heavy class in Space Marine 2 patch 13. Now, all of the bolters in this patch got a body shot damage buff of like 30%. That does affect this weapon and things like the heavy bolter, and because of that, this weapon feels a lot better this patch than it did before. And today we're using the grenade launcher variant because obviously grenades are top tier in Space Marine 2 for contested health recovery and just like general horde clear. Now, on the perk tree, I do start off with the perk here, extended magazine first. Magazine size increases by 15% of the maximum. This will up your total magazine and grenade portion, so a really valuable perk here. And on top of that, when it comes to the heavy class, your ammo regen off of this perk will take your magazine into consideration on this gun, so we're actually getting more ammo out of this for every trigger, so definitely pick this perk up. Next perk here is a magazine restoration, moving here into the perk cleaving fire and remote threat. This one says enemies at a distance of more than 25 meters take 20% more damage. This is a nice perk to have. I mean, sometimes it won't come into play, but 25 meters is not as bad as it sounds initially, and there are a lot of enemies you'll be hitting with this. Next perk here is Great Might. Down here into the perk increased capacity. The maximum ammo reserve of this weapon increases by 20%. This will up your total grenades and your ammo capacity, so a really valuable perk for us. Next perk here is Headhunter into the perk here Recoupment. Killing a Majoris or higher enemy with a headshot, this weapon restores an armor segment. The cooldown is 15 seconds. This perk is super valuable in operations and hard strats because there are a lot of occasions where you'll be shot at by a devourer or something, and getting back one armor will prevent a ton of chip damage, so a really good perk for us. It also moves into a very strong perk as well here with rapid health. When your health's below 30%, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores health by 10%. Now, this perk is super easy to trigger on a grenade launcher for obvious reasons, so we're really strong to keep us topped off. And also, a heavy class is very strong at low HP values with things like fortitude and conviction, so like staying above 30%, you're still very tanky, so really valuable perk for him. Next perk here is Perpetual Penetration, with the final perk option being Divine Might and Extend Magazine again, though alternatively you could pick up the perk here Remote Threat again if you don't want this one, but for the most part I think a flat 10% is a bit better than like a conditional 20, so that's why I grabbed this one. This one also ups our grenades at like point blank, though alternatively you could also skip over this perk and just pick up like Tactical Precision. That is all up to you, and that's pretty much all there is for the heavy bolt rifle. Now for the secondary weapon, I do take the new Heroic Plasma Pistol, mainly because this thing is super complementary to like any bolter primary. The burst damage here is very high, it is very strong for bosses and extremists, and this gun can struggle with that sometimes, so for that reason we do pick this up. And now the way I build this is just for pure damage. I'm not going for the double shot with charged cooling, and the big thing here is just take Plasma Collection and go all the way down for things like Blast Radius and Blast Radius again, and also pick up the perk here Perpetual Velocity every single time, because this weapon has a very long charge up time, so having this perk will make that a little bit faster and is pretty much mandatory as far as I'm concerned. Now the rest of the perks here are Plasma Collection into the perk here Blast Radius and Retaliation and Divine Might, though alternatively you could skip this one for the exact same perk over here if you want to, but it's the exact same, you know, perk tree overall, and that's pretty much all there is for the Heroic Plasma Pistol. Now for the perk tree, we do start off with Restoration first, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores an armor segment. The cooldown is 15 seconds. Now Saber has said that the heavy perk tree will get some like perk reworks at some point, but for now your options are pretty limited overall for like good build variety. So number one, the armor restoration here is just the best option. This perk does nothing, and this perk like outright sucks. Next perk here is Fortitude. Health increases by 30%. We don't benefit from heavy stance perks on the heavy bolt rifle at all, so this perk does nothing for us. And also this perk can buff up your damage if you want to take this, but overall a HP increase is just way better in my opinion. Next perk here is Versatility for a 20% buff on our secondary Heroic Plasma Pistol. This is a very strong buff to your damage, really fun to use, though I will say Overwhelming Power is also very strong. These are both up to you though. Next perk here is Additional Supplies. The ammo capacity for all of your team's primary weapons increases by 25%. Now, this will up your total grenade capacity and your ammo reserve, so really strong for us here because the heavy bolt rifle is not that ammo efficient on heavy, and having this perk definitely helps out, and so is the next one here with Consecutive Execution. Killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores equipment charged by 1. The cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, getting Melta Bombs back on a 90-second cooldown will save you a ton of ammo, and you'll usually find like at least 1 or 2 useful equipment in your game. And also, Saber at some point said they might look into just giving you an option to choose some of the equipment as a starting option in your game, so perks like this might actually get even better in the future, but I would definitely pick this up. It saves you a ton of ammo because blowing up like 15 Hormigons with a multi-melta on top of 4 Majoris, that is a very strong option for ammo conservation. Now the next perk here is Power Regulator. Iron Halo loses energy 20% more slowly. Now the perk up here, Field Adjustment, does come out to an overall faster recharge time, but this one is pretty close just because of the energy saved, and also doesn't lower down the durability of your Iron Halo itself. So I do prefer this option, but if you want this, you can definitely do that too. Next perk here is Brute Force. When Iron Halo is in cooldown, range damage increases by 15%. This is pretty much up 24/7 because your Iron Halo counts as in cooldown while it's in use, so a really strong perk effect here and much stronger than the other options like Saving Grace, and Wrath of the Imperium is actually pretty good. It's not like super strong on this build. Final perk here is Offensive Capability. When active, Iron Halo deals damage over time to all enemies within 5 meters. This is just a super strong utility perk. It'll one-shot Cultists, Spore Mines, Bramble. It just makes it really easy to pick up free executes as well. And Conversion Field is quite strong in a group if you're like coordinated, but overall, this is the best in my opinion. Now, for the Prestige perk options, the first one I take here is Auxiliary Reload. Melee kills of Extremis or higher enemies restore your prime weapons ammo by 1 magazine. You pretty much always pick this up because even though you don't get grenades off this perk, it is definitely worth taking because the ammo economy of the heavy bolt rifle is not that strong. This will help that out. Next perk here is Conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you will take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. This is a perk you pretty much pick up on every class you can. It is such a strong damage reduction effect that will make you way tankier even without things like Fortitude, so definitely grab this one. The final perk options here are Indomitable Spirit for no knockback during Gunstrike because of this will save your life. Being able to get a Gunstrike without being like staggered and stuff like that will absolutely give you back your CHP at times and just keep you from dying, so definitely grab this. And the final perk here is either Reverberating Impact, Exponential Force, a Duelist, or Home Precision. That is up to you, but like I think these three are just the overall best by far. And that's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. The Heroic Heavy Bolt Rifle definitely feels better now with that 30% body shot damage increase. The Heavy Bolter especially feels very strong with that, but hopefully this build guide helped you. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more. If you want to watch me live to ask me questions about the game or just come hang out, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description alongside a link to my community Discord. And I also want to say a special thank you to all my channel members. You help me keep the channel alive, and I really do appreciate your support. And as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye.
To dry ground. Reloading. Corruptive presence detected. Formidable tyranny organisms eliminated. Tactical preeminence. To dry ground. Escalated counteraction.
Okay.
So-and-so spotted.
Whatever.
Servants of the dark gods.
In my mind, we hit that.
Enemy units call for backup. I require
Perish.
rites of scouring to purge this malevolent presence. And thousands.
Now, since we have a fat magazine capacity on this one, you actually have a pretty easy time. Now, the only unfortunate thing about this class as well is that the heavy bolt rifle, or this weapon I should say, that the heavy bolt rifle is not taking advantage of any heavy stance perks. So you are kind of just stuck.
It is about utilizing material.
Okay. Pretty cool. I guess you can. I don't know. I feel like a Melta Bomb would still reach underground. Yeah, if there's one thing I hope they change in the next game, if we have to fight Tyranids again, it's make it so Raveners can't just, like, ignore death by digging. They still take damage, but they can't go executable.
The heretics will find nothing to salvage from this crushing loss. Watch the water. It is hostile. Do not engage. Move. Move to dry ground. Corruptive presence detected.
Probably 16 so that I shot on me there.
Specialized warfare in action. Move to dry ground.
I don't know what that sorcerer's doing, man. Ain't nothing important. Didn't Ferris Manus get decapitated by Fulgrim? Yeah, that may have happened. That may have definitely happened. I'm gonna call that a tragedy. Me, I am one of those people. Because it's not like Ferris Manus had fans in the first place. Do direct plasma hits do more damage? I believe so, yeah. It should. I'm actually, maybe not on this one. On the normal one, kind of need to. The splash damage is not that strong. The normal one. This one is very high splash damage. Actually, in some cases, you can double up the direct hit damage to the plasma. Actually, take it back. Like on a heavy plasma incinerator, direct shot's not always the best. Sometimes you want the AoE, or you won't hit a break point. Yeah, look at this ammo box.
Tactical preeminence. Utilizing material. Tyranid leader mix destroyed. Replenishing ordnance. No turning back. Facility location suboptimal for logistical
Oh, my boxes.
supply.
I like that. Hello, just saw your guides on YouTube and it helped me a lot. Just picked up the game 3 days ago. I'm playing Bulwark, but I don't know why I can't stand the power gauntlet. I prefer the sword. SMH, that's still viable? Everything is viable. You giving me a video idea, okay? I'm going to talk about this. What is viable in Space Marine 2? Everything. Everything is viable. Unless you're playing hard siege to a higher wave, or very particular hard strats, everything works very well. I would say. Everything. Everything works for us. Thank you for watching, though. I do that. But people ask me this all the time. That's why you give me the idea that, like, I think I'm going to finally answer this question. What is meta? What is the most effective tactic available? What is the point of meta? Why do people use meta? Does it actually fucking matter? No, it does not. Who does meta actually matter for? Meta matters for people that are trying to push world records of things. It matters for players who are trying to min-max. But this isn't really a min-max game for most content, is the thing. So you really do not need that. All a meta build is a force multiplier for player skill. And sometimes that force multiplier is required for a task in a game, but usually the majority of that player base is not actually encountering that. I get called names for not taking the secure stockpile. I'm sorry you get called names. That's a quote I took from JTC Live of Darktide, because I think that is the best way to sum up a meta ever, which is it is simply a force multiplier for player skill. And some things require that, you know, some things do require that force multiplier. Some content is so ridiculous that player skill, that even with player skill, you still need the best thing in the game. But when, like, an average player asks, like, should I use X, Y, or Z? Is this viable? Viable, someone saying it's not viable would imply that you can't actually use it in complete content with any remote type of ease, which is just not true in this game. So to answer your question, you can use your sword. A great idea, though. I also aim to play higher stuff. Yeah, so if you're trying to play higher stuff, keep in mind, so siege mode right now is whack. Like, the siege mode scaling right now for, like, most players, no, honestly, every player, it's very pigeonholed at the moment. Like, tactical is just so far above other classes in the hard siege in terms of overall effectiveness, especially with the new damage scaling. Oh my god, Bricky with the party of 703. Hello, Bricky. How are you? I'm more awake this time than the last time you raided me. How are you doing, dude?
Initial facility defense was unsuccessful. Yet no fallen defenders.
Oh. Jeff sent us to lie to you. Jeff sent us to lie to you. Okay, what are we lying about? Last time he sent in a bunch of baby flayers. Jeff sends his regard. Are we talking about Jeff? My name's Jeff. That's what I'm thinking of. Everything Bloodborne 10. My name's Jeff. My friends send that to me all the time. Thank you very much for the raid, man. What were you up to? What was you playing? I think Brick had to raid and run. Bro said he had an appointment. Oh, that's fair. It's very nice of him. I will send him a thank you. Game Awards. Oh, Jeff Keighley. Doritos Pope. Summer Games Festival. Oh, yeah. I didn't actually watch that today. I should have. Ow. Is there a consensus at all in the next class? So, I'm glad you asked this, because this is a question I can actually answer. It's either going to be Chaplain or just this year, I would say. So they've talked previously about a greatsword being added to the game. That's something that's come up in the community quite a bit. And I would say the likelihood of that being a just this year is pretty high. And also, it makes financial sense for the company to do that, because they don't have to actually hire any voice actors, since just this year's do take a vow of silence. Hey, first time popping in, enjoying the content so far. I appreciate that, man. It was mid, you didn't miss anything, Chief. Was it actually that bad, guys? Code Veronica remake? Oh, that's actually cool. I am hyped for that. I've been so out of the loop on the Summer Games Fest. We're out here rocking a heavy bolt rifle, Iron Lord's Deathwatch guy. Now, for those of you who are new here, I am the first true guardsman, as some have occasionally called, or FTG. And I play Space Marine. Like a religion. Maybe I should have said the first true. I'm a first true guardsman. That's more accurate, I think. Because they don't make it. They don't make it very far, do they? I am a guardsman who is on a first tour. And we might actually be fucked right now. Hey man, I'm new to 40k in Space Marine, enjoying all your content, guys. Cheers, mate. No problem, Sam. I'm glad they could help. Even compared to normal Space Marine initiates. And also, chances of success for adults starting the Space Marine process is like very low. That is true. It's like Compound V in the boys, except, you know, you become a Space Marine instead of like whatever they become. No retreat, no surrender. Emperor protects always. Except when you die. Except when you tragically die. Yeah, here's the question, chat. What is the best regiment to send to go conquer Pandora from Avatar? The Imperial Guardsman Regiment. I mean, the Catachan, or Catachan, it's not like the obvious choice, but like I feel like Freaks would also do quite well.
Keep searching.
Salamanders. I mean, I guess chapters. Listen, the Salamanders would probably still kill the Navi, but Cadians could do it. I mean, I think any regiment could do it, but could very easily do it. The question is, which one would be the most interesting, I guess? All right.
Utilizing material.
Oh dear.
Traitor leader terminated. Inserting fresh magazines. Iron Tail have escalated counteraction.
Ow. Sly Marvo. I mean, listen, Sly Marvo. He'd find AWA all on his own. I feel like the Elysians would do a pretty good job of it. I mean, I feel like, I mean, Pandora is just like one of the weakest alien planets to run into. Now, the real question is, which regiment's the most likely, or I should say, do you think Salamanders would spare the Navi? I don't know. Actually, maybe this is a gap in my lore knowledge. Maybe someone in chat can fill me in. So salamanders are nice, kind of. Maybe not the Eldari children, but salamanders are nice. But are they nice to Navi from Avatar? Like, will they still just purge you if you're a Xenos? No questions asked. I feel like they would. Nice to humans, yeah. Like they're still Imperium members. I don't think they really give a shit if you're Navi still Xeno scum. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If the Imperium demands that they will kill, that's always something about salamanders. Like I see people talk about them and be like, "Oh, salamanders are so nice." I'm like, "Yeah, but like, they're still from like the worst." What they call it in the 11th edition trailer that we just had? They're like, it's the worst regime the galaxy has ever seen. Which I don't even know if that's entirely accurate, but the flavors to use true. Imperium is hella bad. They're pretty bad. But there are guys, you know, it's one of those things where no matter how bad humanity gets, humanity's always sucked, okay? Let's be very clear. Like, humanity's always sucked ass. So, like, is it really that much of a shock we suck in the 41st millennium as well? Like, is the Imperium of mankind in the 41st millennium even, like, are they even really the worst? The worst humanity's ever been? I don't think they are. I think we've had worse regimes on Earth. Like, what was a more brutal regime? The Imperium of Mankind or the Republic of Dave from Fallout 3? Technically, yes, they are the worst. Most widespread, I guess. Okay, yeah. I guess they do have the capacity on account of all the technology they have to make, like, they do far more substantial atrocities. That being said. The cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable, I can imagine. Have they seen? Have they seen how I run my Sims? I don't know, dude. I was a kid and I ran Zootopia. And when I like opened the gates to the alligators, I think I was worse. See, as a child, I played a lot of Zootopia and like Roller Coaster Tycoon. And in Zootopia, I would create the most successful the most successful zoo of all time, only to pull down the gates to the alligators. Watch for my wins. NCR on the Roller Coaster Tycoon mention. Hello, TG. What's up, Chardblock? Right, so you just wanted to recreate Jurassic Park on a budget. Well, of course we were on a budget. We were 8. So that was like our only option, okay? I didn't have enough quarters to play the Jurassic Park game. You know, like the one at Chuck E. Cheese? FTG Armageddon box in a couple hours. You picking it up? I might. I'll do it. You know what? I said I was going to do a face reveal at 100k subs. That'll probably happen in the next 6 months. And then I'll do some box reveals and stuff like that. We'll expand the tabletop from there. Oh, wow. No face reveal? No, dude. I mean, we'll do it for like the minis. I'm not gonna be on cam every time. You gotta keep that shit like a secret. First of all, my face is not even a secret. I used to Twitch stream my face 5 years ago all the time. Actually, how long is it now? Yeah, 5 years ago. Yeah, you can draw a direct line between face reveals and channels falling off. You know what? Maybe you're right, guys. You actually put the fear of God in me. Sometimes I take risks. Sometimes. Tell you what, I'll make another channel, only have my face on there. Then he'll be like, is this first streamer guardsman? I'm like, no, not, dude. Why do you think it's me? Crocus Shinobi stream, I'll find it. It's not there either. It's not Crocus Shinobi. You can draw a direct line between being a VTuber and never being popular. That's definitely not true. In fact, some of the most, first of all, some of the most popular 40K streamers I know are VTubers.
Guardsmen sustained a breach. We will close the breach and avenge the fallen. Eliminate the eyes.
Peanut, the burnt peanut. Yeah, burnt peanut.
A blight to be purged.
Red loves that guy.
What is the mutant? A cancer to be excised. What is the heretic?
So when I carried Froggy and Miwa a couple weeks ago with Space Marine 2, and I had my title say the FTG VTuber carrying stream nobody asked for, everybody thought I was coming out as a VTuber, like for dual model. I was like, excuse me. Who do you think we're watching? This is the FTG stream where FTG can't even be bothered to have 1080p sometimes. We think we can afford a VTuber model. Guys, some VTuber models are like $10,000, okay? Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like being a VTuber, but I'm just saying that like I would feel bad if people donated to me and then I spent $10,000 on a VTuber model. You know what I mean? I already feel bad about the guy that bought me RE9 Requiem, and I said I'd play it on stream, and then I played it for 8, but then it turns out it was only an 8-hour game, and I tried it offline. And then I said, hey dude, I'm sorry, I accidentally played through the entire game, so I got addicted this weekend. I can send you your money back. And then he was like, it's fine, that's pocket change, and he blocked me, and never talked to me again. That was a great L I took. That was honestly, that was a true tragedy. But, that was my greatest betrayal. I'll never forgive myself. And if you're out there, guy, I'm sorry. I'll still send you the PayPal if you ever want. Just make a crack duck style character and put it in the corner. I should do that, shouldn't I? I should ask him how he does that. It's fine, and he blocked you. Well, he said it's. He told me it's pocket change, and then he removed me and left my Discord. So it was a deep betrayal, and I understand. Okay. Some things cannot be repaid in money. Only blood. You literally have one, true. You can send the PayPal to me instead. It's what you would want. What Clara would have wanted. FTG Vox holograms and a V2 model, yeah. Guys, if we made it this far with 480 with 720p streams and 4 emotes, just imagine what happens when we get 8 emotes and God forbid the fabled 14. I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk about things that can never possibly happen, like 1440p streams. That's out of the realm of FTG. We only do those on accident. Yeah, we did. They're definitely gonna add a boss to that portion at the end. I'm sure.
Viridian, Auspex confirms the rift is collapsing. Heretic warp signatures are dissipating across the battlefield. Exemplary work. Return to the Resilient. Have the Cadians follow. Their exposure to the warp was significant. They will be detained for inquisitorial assessment. May the Inquisition find them untainted.
That wasn't too bad.